Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review. Number 290, I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel, Aaron Rift, TJS, Big G, and Walter Cruz, the same crew that was here Tuesday night. This is now post Clash at the Castle in Scotland. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Big G?
I'm doing pretty good. We had a good weekend of wrestling. I'm throwing this out here. TNA Wrestling made me a fan. I'm going to go away to Slammiversary, and if Slammiversary is good, I might become a full-fledged member of TNA Wrestling. Other than that, today was good. I was up in Gettysburg for the weekend hanging out with the family for Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, by the way.
Nice. Well, are you happy to be here?
I'm always happy to be here, Virtue. Now that I'm here more on a regular base, yeah.
All right, what's up, Walter?
Nothing much. Yeah, I told you, Big G, the TNA was number 2. Better than AEW, man. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. Looking to get into these topics, so yeah, I'm ready.
All right, stay tuned, TJS.
Hey, doing good. It's very hot here in Northeast Arkansas. Currently, it's 7 p.m., 91 degrees outside, so it is cooking out there. So I'm happy to be in here on this video to talk about these topics because WWE had a show that was just as hot as the weather outside right now. So looking forward to it. Glad to be here as always. Let's get it going.
We're going to talk about that, obviously, a little bit later because CM Punk was involved. So stay tuned with that. Aaron Rift, what's going on?
It's been a eventful weekend. I had the live coverage on NoDQ. I did the recap yesterday. It was nice covering an afternoon show. And now we get to talk about the fallout. It's rare that we have the same 5-person panel 2 episodes in a row. I'm not sure how often that has happened over the history of the NoDQ review, but it's a great panel. So why not bring it back once again as we talk about the fallout? Great to have people in the chat room with us tonight. So thank you to everybody watching this. Leave your comments, leave your feedback. We'll put some of the comments on the screen. Feel free to super chat a question for us to answer, and let's get right down to it.
Well, we didn't have much time to get much new stuff since Tuesday other than Clash at the Castle. But let's start off with this topic. And I feel like we've talked about this before, maybe not. But should the Hardy Boys together retire? You always hear, if they're leaving this promotion and they're going to this. Jeff's had problems in the past with, various issues to kind of keep him out of wrestling for short periods of time. So, TJS, what do you think here? The Hardy Boys, Jeff Hardy, it's always a fairy tale ending to have that last run in WWE, Hall of Fame and everything. And they did return several years ago to WrestleMania and got a huge pop. What do you think here? I mean, Jeff's health is the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Go ahead, TJS.
Man, to be honest, I feel like their last WWE run should have been their swan song because I feel like, they felt like a huge deal when I believe it was WrestleMania, 36?
34, 33.
33. Okay, WrestleMania 33 that they came back. I thought that was awesome. But then, since they've left, I feel like they have not made much of an impact. You have Jeff Hardy appearing on Rampage, and he even, expressed frustration in his spot on the card, which, it led to him leaving AEW, and now he came back to TNA. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you say that does not feel like a big deal to me, and I feel like it's just because the Hardys have just cooled off so much, and I hate to say this because I did love, watching them when they were in their prime and everything, but I feel like they just don't add anything to the product these days. A couple of good hands, but other than that, yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know how old they are now, but I'm sure that they're still going to try to do the high spots and keep up with the youngsters. And yeah, Virtue, I think it might be safer for them to just go ahead and hang it up and, let's remember the good times instead of going out there and them, something dangerous really happening one day just so they can keep up with the kids. And then, I'd rather them be healthy. If Jeff is sober, that's great. But yeah, I think this AEW run was pretty much the nail in the coffin, and they probably should just hang it up. Maybe that's a hot take. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's like if they can't do their style specifically, Jeff, why not like just call it a career? Do your appearances, maybe show up once in a while, get your Hall of Fame induction. But wrestlers just hold on as long as they can. And, rightfully so if they're getting paid. But the fans, it seems like when wrestlers hang on, a la Chris Jericho, the fans will turn on them. If they're just a half a step slower than they used to be, the fans, not all of them, but they will just turn on them because they can't keep up with the new crew that does all the crazy stuff. And I think retiring might be a good bet, but, they'll always linger on. Walter, what do you think?
It's weird. I'm a little conflicted on this because part of me says, yeah, I think it's time. But then the other part is like, who the hell am I to tell you when to give up your career? If you feel like you can still do it and you can give your all, then why not? Go do it as long as you can. It's when you love something, it's not a job. So to them, it's not a job and they love it. But at the same time, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt because it's like, especially Jeff, there's an old cliche that when somebody shows you who they really are, believe them. How many chances is he going to get and then screw it up? Like I'm hoping this is the last time and he's sober for good and that's it. But I just don't want to see the inevitable rise again and then to fall hard from the top. I'm a little worried about it. But Matt, he can still go. Watching him in TNA, Matt is still going strong and he can do it. And he doesn't do many high fly moves as Jeff does. He's kind of safer with it. Like he mentioned that like springboard leg drop was like hurting his spine. So he started changing it to an elbow drop. But of course, Sunday or Friday at TNA, it was Friday. He did it off the ladder through a table because he had to. But I mean, it's nice to see them right up to the sunset and then get that one little thing appearance on Raw or something, and then go off into the Hall of Fame. But who am I to tell them when to go? If they feel like they can go, then go. But I really think it is time. Like,
what if
let the next generation go?
What if Jeff Hardy's wife had political opinions and stuff and was sharing tweets? Oh wait, that's Chris Jericho's wife, and then all of a sudden that's why people don't want to see him anymore.
Where was Jericho's wife on January 6th?
That's a vocal minority. Most people don't care about that stuff, but they're the ones on Twitter like, oh, how dare you, whatever. But I don't know if we've really heard much from, Rebby we've heard of on Matt's side several times.
Yeah.
That always gets interesting on social media, but
yeah.
I don't know, maybe
the way people can't separate people from their beliefs is so stupid. Who gives a shit that Jericho likes Trump? I'm not a big Trump fan. I don't like him, but I love Jericho. Like, there's wrestlers who aren't avid gun fans, but I like guns. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, fuck them. They don't like me. Like, that's stupid. Like, who cares what their view as long as they're performing?
It's a niche group
what
of
they
people
do.
that are haters. And again, they don't have to ever retire. I mean, we bring up this discussion because obviously there's Hardy Boy fans that want to see them forever as long as they can. But we'll always have the highlights. But if you just can't quite do things like you used to, you either reinvent it, and that's what they did for to a point with TNA and the whole deletion stuff. Yeah, and that was very interesting, and it didn't quite go over in WWE the right way, but maybe all the right parties can get together. I know Jeremy Borash had a lot to do with that. And I think he works in WWE now, and he made the original run of all that stuff. I know some people didn't like it, but a lot of people were like, wow, this is kind of interesting. I mean, heck, WWE even did The Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Like, that would have never have ever happened, not because of the pandemic, but if the Hardy Boys didn't do their stuff. We would have never saw Undertaker, and even the Bray Wyatt and Cena thing. We'd never see that. So, to a point, it was actually revolutionary a little bit. What do you think, Big G?
Well, I'm a Hardy's fan through and through. I mean, I got their darn freaking logo right here tattooed. I waited at a meet and greet to meet the Hardys for an hour and a half, so that's how dedicated I am to the Hardys. Their WWE run during WrestleMania 33, I thought should have been it, but like you said, who are we to say when they should be done? I felt like their AEW run was just complete garbage, especially Jeff. He was there for, a year and a half, and maybe had like 3 or 4 matches. Same with Matt. Now they're in TNA. I'm not 100% sure if Matt's on a contract with TNA. I don't think he is. I don't think Jeff is. Okay. So, I mean, they can pretty much go everywhere they want to, but I feel like they should do one last run in TNA, and then maybe, with this TNA NXT thing, maybe we'll see Matt and Jeff in NXT for a little bit, and they can end their career in WWE and get their Hall of Fame. Go into the Hall of Fame. Huh?
You okay? Is your eye okay?
No, my eyes. My allergies been killing me, and I was just up in Gettysburg, and like they have honeysuckle up there, which is really bad, and just really bothers the heck out of me. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the Hardys are close to the end of their careers. I know they're like in their mid 40s. Matt's got he has like 4 kids now, so I'm sure he wants to be there for his kids when they grow up, and Jeff's got a daughter, I believe. So I'm sure they want to be there for their kids and family in the end. But we all said, who the hell are we to say when you're done? So
they got to be older than their mid 40s. Put some ages up in the chat if you know how old Matt and Jeff are. I know Matt's older.
I can tell you. I have it pulled up.
Okay, Aaron, over to you.
All right. First of all, shout out to Mr. Anderson, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Wishing a happy Father's Day to Rey Mysterio, the deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio. Happy Father's Day to him. And there was also a super chat from Michael, but he said save it later. We'll go ahead and answer that in a little bit. I have mixed feelings about the Hardys after that latest arrest from Jeff Hardy in AEW. I don't blame Tony Khan for not pushing Jeff, as maybe Jeff should have been pushed considering his star power. I think the Hardys are great. They're all-time legends, and Jeff Hardy will always get a big pop. When you hear that music, people are going to react, and they did it against all odds. There was a massive reaction when he came out there. He's always going to have that superstar vibe. It reminds me a lot of Scott Hall, 2 guys that had their demons, their personal issues, but they were superstars. They were larger than life, and whenever they would come out, no matter what was going on in their personal life, they would get that pop from the fans, and they would always be over. I would like to see a happy ending for the Hardy Boys. I would like to see them inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'd like to see them have one last run in WWE. And I know people were thinking that back in 2017. I don't think there's a lot of mileage left in the Hardys, but at the same time, I do think you can have them go into the Hall of Fame and give them like one final WrestleMania match. The stuff they're doing in TNA right now, it's nostalgia. They're rehashing the Broken Hardys routine, which is fine. I don't really think we're going to see anything new out of them, but I think it's cool that they're still doing what they want to do and they have that passion. A lot of guys could just retire and live off the money they made in wrestling, and certainly the Hardys are well off. You see Matt Hardy's home. They're doing pretty good financially. Jeff, the big concern with him is obviously his personal issues and the concern that he'll potentially fall off the wagon again. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm rooting for them. I want to see them have their last run and and things end on a high note for them. I don't want their career to end in a tragedy. I want to see them go off into the sunset as a team that has one of the best legacies in wrestling history. I mean, they're the Hardys. I mean, a lot of us grew up on them, and wishing them the best. And I'm glad they're in TNA and they have that opportunity.
Now, Aaron, before you continue, someone in the chat's like, I'm a troll. I always like what people hate and hate what people like.
It's true.
What would you say most wrestling fans are WWE fans, right? True statement?
Sure.
Channel? The whole bloodline, Roman Reigns, the last 4 years, pretty much over with a lot of fans. That just debunked what that troll just said. So who's the troll? Virtue wins again. Go ahead, Aaron. Other super chats? Anything else on the Hardys?
Michael did send in that super chat, but he said save it for later. Not much else to say about the Hardys. I think it's good for TNA. Any star power they can get. Oh, we just lost Big G, so we'll move along. Virtue, hopefully we get him back. Let's go ahead to the next topic.
All right, and I'm still good this week, right?
Yeah, you're good. No issues
Darth
so
Vader?
far.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm still working on things here, but hopefully this will work the rest of the show. All right, let's talk about this topic. So we have wrestlers that we like and don't like. Let's kind of like move to the gimmick of a wrestler, or I guess you could say character. What do you like the most, and what do you like the least? Now the stipulations here are they have to currently be on TV. So obviously I would say Roman Reigns, but he's not on TV right now. So on TV, out of all the wrestling shows, Big G, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
I want to see what kind of answers we get here. So let's talk about gimmick, because, in today's world, it's always about wrestlers. No.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, there's still some gimmicks and characters out there.
There is.
And you have to have a favorite and a least favorite right now in this bubble of wrestlers currently on TV. I'm just curious what some people will say.
All right, my least favorite, I would have to say, oh my god, I literally had to think about this all day.
And it could be a booking problem, like they make them be that character, like when Happy Corbin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean you hate that person.
God. Can I go last? I got to think about this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Remember, you got to do a favorite one first.
I know.
Walter,
yeah.
What if I put you on the spot, Walter? Will you be able to do this? I'd like to stump everybody here.
My favorite is CM Punk in the character because he just doesn't give a shit. Like it's half Phil Brooks, half Punk. It's like half character, but mixed in there with reality. Like he just doesn't give a shit, and it's funny. You can tell he's like he just says what's on his mind. Like they give him whatever cliff notes, and he just goes off. It is like I love. CM Punk reminds me of you. Like seriously, he's just like a troll, like on TV, and he's like, look, like me if you like me, don't like me if you don't like me. And least likely as a character, least like Darby Allin. I think he's just a certified freaking stunt man, and he doesn't.
And we were just
belong
talking
in my
about
ring.
Jeff Hardy. He's not Jeff Hardy number 2.
He's worse than Jeff. Like at least Jeff can earn your respect. Like he earned the Undertaker's respect. He goes out. He took what they call calculated risk. Darby is just there to try to shock the most shock value he can do. Like. He was literally a professional stuntman before wrestling. So like to me, it's just stuntman. Like he makes Mick Foley and stuff Jeff Hardy and it makes it look like child's play. Like he does things for just to do it, and it's like he's seriously gonna either really really get hurt or hurt somebody else. And like I never want to see it. Like people talk about dying in the ring, it's good for a show. Like I really would see Darby Allin dying in the ring. Like I can actually see it, and it's like I don't want to. So it's like he's too much of a stuntman to me.
All right, there you go for Walter Cruz. Now we'll pass it over to TJS. You're on mute.
Can you guys hear me? Got me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can start with. Can I do 2, or does there have to only be 1?
You could make the honorable mention the second.
Okay.
Maybe.
Honorable mention. I am going to go with the.
You doing favorite or least favorite? Okay.
Favorite.
Okay.
Honorable mention. I'm going to go with Chad Gable because I am really enjoying the gimmick that he's doing. The abusive father gimmick, basically. I really like it. We'll get to that. We'll talk about him later, but I'm putting him as my honorable mention. My favorite gimmick that we got going right now. It's okay to count CM Punk, right? Like he's technically okay. That's who I'm going with.
He's on TV. He was this weekend.
I literally said
you know
Punk. Of course, it's okay.
To be different from you than Walter, I'm gonna go with Gunther then as my favorite because that dude, like, I just love his gimmick. His gimmick is to show up, beat somebody's ass, and that's it. Like, and he's a heel, but he's not like a coward. So he'll accept any fight. Anybody comes out there wants to fight him, he'll whip your ass, and then he'll just move on to the next guy. So I got to go with him. That's a guy. Aaron, would you agree? That's a guy you don't want to run into in a dark alley.
Very true. He's a bad mama jamma, as Chris Jericho would say.
Yeah. Least favorite, honorable mention. I'm gonna go with Karrion Kross's faction.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It is.
Because I mean, if these guys were booked right, then I could take them seriously. But they're just. It's a joke. And I've seen, like, I went to a WWE event with Cross. That guy is huge in person. So he could definitely be, if he was in NXT, even he was booked right, he could feel like a real threat, but he's not. So, yeah, that's my honorable least favorite is that faction because I just can't take him seriously. And it just doesn't work for me, brother. Least favorite, this is going to be a hot take. Awesome Truth. I'm tired of it. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. The R-Truth stuff was funny for a little bit, but I'm done with it, man. I don't think they need to be the tag champs. They barely defend, and I just want to pull what's left of my hair out every time R-Truth does his little jokes. I mean, I still laugh at them sometimes, but I just get tired of it, if that makes sense. But I stayed out of AEW because the list would be too long for least.
All right. Wait, Big G, you wanted to go last, so I'll go with Aaron next.
Okay, well, I'll keep it short here. First of all, TJS, I love your answer with Karrion Kross. I think he should go babyface. To me, the heel gimmick has not worked at all. Probably the worst thing on WWE television as far as gimmicks go. And I would say best on WWE is Drew McIntyre. He's doing some great work. I'm loving his character right now. CM Punk is obviously up there, but we really haven't seen him too much as of late. But everything he has done is very entertaining. And I'm loving Otis. Otis would be up there as well. I love his gimmick and everything he's doing with Chad Gable. Best thing, what was that? Braun Breaker's definitely up there as far as best goes, as far as gimmicks. In AEW, like you said, there's too many bad ones. Hi guys. I hate to say it because I love Chris Jericho, but that's up there. Not a fan of Daniel Garcia's gimmick at all with the dancing. That is something that if I wasn't doing this for a living, I would be changing the channel. Not a big fan of that character that he's doing, and not really a big fan of the stuff going on with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang now, or whatever the hell they're called. I honestly think the Acclaimed has kind of worn off, and there's a lot of stuff that's just not clicking for me right now in AEW. So that list is too long. Best gimmick in AEW is MJF for sure. I mean, it's not even close as far as I'm concerned. He's far and away the top gimmick in the company, and Will Ospreay is a great athlete, but the gimmick is okay. It's middle of the road for me. MJF is the best thing about AEW and continues to be that way. Walter?
It's with MJF and CM Punk both. It's a little hard to say they're a gimmick because I feel like it's just extensions of who they really are. It's not really a gimmick.
Yeah, I was trying to think more of like an actual character that somebody's portraying. Something that they're doing that maybe is a bit fantasy-like, cartoonish or whatever. TJS?
Yeah, the wrestler Shibata.
Jeez. I mean, I don't even know if that qualifies as a
No.
gimmick because it's not really much of anything.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
I still like the Orange Cassidy character.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of run its course, I think.
He needs
And
to
that
go
is
to
not
W.
my least favorite, by the way.
All right, well, I'm
Orange
curious to get yours,
Yeah,
but
let's hear this.
well, wait, before we get to that, we do have a couple super chats here. Mr. Anderson sent in $2. He says, worst gimmick, New Day, favorite Judgment Day. I mean, it's also something that you can consider what I'm trying to say is characters that have run their course. Like they at one time were interesting gimmicks, but then they run out of steam. And I think you could definitely argue that for New Day. Michael sent in a $2 super chat, says favorite. What is this?
Cerrito of the Chell WO.
Chelsea as Rey Mysterio with the mask.
At Clash
Well, we don't know
yesterday.
we don't know if that was Chelsea or not.
There wasn't. It
No,
absolutely wasn't.
it
It's a totally
was Chel
different person.
Cerrito.
Yeah, totally different person. All right, I've said my piece on it. Like New Day's an okay gimmick right now. I mean, it was great when it was at its peak. Obviously, it's a bit past its peak. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad gimmick, just something that's played out, much like Orange Cassidy. I mean, after a while, things lose steam. Gimmicks get cold after a while, and you can't rely on the same routine forever. And at least to Chris Jericho's credit, he's trying to do something different. Doesn't always work. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. But I do give him credit for trying to reinvent himself, as he's done many times throughout his career. But yeah, you can't just be the same guy for like 10 years. Eventually, people will lose interest. Walter?
I just want that, yeah. If Undertaker had to change, you know that you got to change sometime. The only person that really kept to who they were, the only difference is they took a mask off, was Kane. Kane pretty much was the same person until the corporation part.
Even Kane evolved the character, and he went from being a very mysterious monster, and then he slowly became more humanized, and then eventually he took off the mask and went dark again. And we've seen different layers to the character. But yeah, like we've seen Orange Cassidy, who's made a little bit of change, but not a whole lot. So I wouldn't necessarily call Orange Cassidy and New Day bad gimmicks right now, but I do think that they have gotten stale.
Now, before you go, Big G, I'll tell you, obviously, if Roman Reigns was on TV, he would be number one, and Rock would be right up there with the final boss. But they're not on TV right now. I'm not going to say my least favorite is Cody Rhodes. I'm going to cut him some slack. I'm not going to say my least favorite is the ring announcing of Samantha Irvin. The Young Bucks. Just a horrible. They literally come out like high school student. Like, you think Orange Cassidy is supposed to be a high school student. It's almost like the Young Bucks are coming off as the high school student, and they're walking down the hall together, and they're trying to, pick their battles and pushing certain people out of the – and it's just an awful gimmick. It does not play well, and they're trying to be EVPs, and at the end of the day, they're just those wrestlers that Dave Meltzer likes to put over. So that's the worst gimmick to me. The best – I don't know if it's a gimmick or like an enhancement of his real self. It's Logan Paul. When he brings Donald Trump on his podcast, and Donald Trump has millions of fans, okay? Won an election, lost an election. Millions of people vote for this guy for the president of the – well, I'm just saying based on what Logan Paul does not care. He's a heel. Brings him on for publicity. That's how you do it. Smart on Trump's part, too. And we're not talking politics. We're just talking that Logan Paul is not afraid to do anything. And that's why I like it. And I'd like to see that transcend even more on WWE TV. So that's my favorite. Big G, go ahead.
I've had time to think. People have taken some ideas of mine, but I am going to go with my favorite right now in WWE. I'm not going to do AEW because, like we said, there's like a whole bunch that we could do in AEW. My favorite in WWE right now would have to be... I'm going to stick with Shayna Baszler. Even though she hasn't been given the push that I think she needs, she still goes out there and is that badass wrestler. She doesn't need to talk on the mic. She goes in the ring and shows what she needs to do.
So that's your she's your favorite?
Yeah. Yes.
Going back. He's going back to his old school
Shane
roots.
is always gonna be up there. My least favorite gimmick in WWE, somebody mentioned it already, but I've been feeling it
okay.
too. It's the New Day. They've been going on almost 10 years, with the same gimmick, and I don't know if it's not with Big E being there or if it's just them being. I mean, yeah, they've they were heels at first and then they turned face, and then you there's a lot of wrestlers that stay face for the longest time, but like I feel like their act has gotten stale. People still do the New Day Rocks thing, but like every time they come on TV, I admit it, I would always do the New Day chant along and clap my hand, but I haven't done that anymore. I just like, it's not my thing. So
remember Kokomania?
But yeah, Gunther, I was gonna pick Gunther, and then TJS was like, so I was like, all right, I gotta think of somebody else. And I was like, Shayna Baszler. Gotta stick with my girl.
All right. Well, there we go. And Aaron, are we ready to move on to the main event, which is basically we're going to talk about Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland. Anything else, Aaron, before we move on?
Yeah, we got a super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho. Says best is Chad Gable, which is a good choice, and then worst Karrion Kross, which, good picks there, Psycho Jet Black. And on that note, we are caught up, Virtue.
All right, so Clash at the Castle took place. Cody retained, obviously. Bailey retained. Sammy retained. There's new women's tag team champions. Most importantly, Damian Priest retains because CM Punk came out and screwed Drew McIntyre in his hometown, home country, and the fans there went home miserable, pissed off. Boo. Props to Wade Barrett for playing that gimmick. I mean, come on. It's all a work. It's all a stage. Wade Barrett's playing that role. Like I've always said, and I've heard people like Russo say this, the wrestling company is the dog, and it's to wag its own tail. The fans should not wag the dog. So let's talk about Clash at the Castle, and I will start with you, Walter Cruz.
In general, I liked it. The crowd was pretty hot. These international shows, like, you're gonna see more and more. Like, if they keep this up in a good 4 or 5 years, you might see like at least half of the PLEs actually be international, to the point where WrestleMania 2 nights will probably go international somewhere, because like these fans make it so fun to watch, regardless of if it's 5 matches or 15 matches that are booked. Please don't do 15. I was using that as an example. Please don't do that, Triple H. but and it's fun, and it's easy for Aaron and Jeff and JJ and I to like be off of TV by like 6, 7 in the afternoon. We're done with our YouTubes by then because of that. So like I'm loving that vibe. But the whole vibe of how the fans do it, the PLE was so good that I got pretty much, I think, 1 or 2 right out of all the guesses that we do, and I'm not even disappointed. We got new tag champs. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought Jade and Bianca would hold on to that for a little longer. Say what you want, but they went with the field goal moment in Scotland because they knew what they were going to do at that ending. I find it funny. Like, part of me goes, oh, man, Drew deserves it, but the way they did it, like, from production to the camera angle, to the they sure you didn't know it was Punk until that last second, like even into the 2, and then he pretty much pulled when the Rock went. It doesn't matter if I count to 3. So like it was hilarious. It was so well done, and like you said, for Barrett to like play into it, it was like, how you gonna give him a spot on the thing? He wasn't even supposed to be here, and he's over there giving damn donuts to people. Like everything came together. It's such a troll, and it's beautiful. Like I can't wait. We all said it. Punk versus Drew doesn't need the title. So like for them to go after it, and I love what he said in the presser to that guy. It says the first match. He said the first match. He said, "You're a mark. How do you start a feud with a Hell in a Cell?" He went after that guy.
That was
like,
great.
That was beautiful. Like I loved it. So, like, this
Oh.
has got to be, but you do got to give me at least 3 matches out of these two, like, at the very least.
Now,
like,
Walter, I'm gonna challenge you on the I don't like a dead crowd, right?
Yeah.
Definitely don't like a dead crowd. And we always kind of go back to the Raw after Mania, excited crowd. It always made look what they did to Roman several years ago, and it makes it fun. But like if it's in the context of what's happening, I like it. But if it's just to make noise and overtake the show where they can't even talk, with the dominant gimmick, that's part of the gimmick.
Yeah.
WWE wants the fans to do that, but I just don't like when they get loud and the wrestlers can't cut their promos and so there's parts of that type of crowd reaction I don't like. But like I said, I guess if you had to choose between that and a dead crowd, you take even if they're hamming it up to get themselves over. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah,
but it was
look
great.
At the BS chant at the end. The BS chant, woof.
That was great because they had fun the whole weekend there, and then they go home pissed off because they expected Drew to get his moment because of everything that happened since the pandemic. That was excellent booking by WWE, and it furthers it's Punk and Drew. You don't need the title for that right now.
You don't imagine if it leads to Barrett coming out of retirement just to help Drew. He gets so pissed off, he beats the hell out of Punk. You don't know what can happen. He can leave. He can throw his headsets off.
Priest,
yeah,
can continue instead of being the flash in the pan champion. At least he's going to have it longer now.
Right.
And there's so many other things that those fans need to realize happened in that moment. Not that Drew didn't win in Scotland.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You could go so much. Imagine if they put Punk in the Money in the Bank match. Everybody's laid out. He's going to climb the ladder. Guess who's going to stop him? Freaking Drew. And it's going to lead to another. You don't have to immediately go on the one-on-one. And then I'm just looking forward to see. Hopefully, Punk. This is what on SmackDown Punk announcement is that he's cleared, but he teased that he's got some announcement. So we got to see what it is. But hopefully we get the solution to it, but they gotta go at it. It's gonna be one hell of a rivalry.
And what they're doing, what McIntyre and Punk are doing, is playing this animosity like it's the real animosity that existed in AEW with Punk and people. And they're being, granted, they don't have that real animosity. They're probably in the back, yeah, we got them. We hooked those marks. But they're delivering. They're delivering that feud like AEW. It's a shot at AEW. You could have done this. You could have done this, and it would have been even more personal because fans knew it was real. Go ahead. Are you good, Walter?
Yeah.
On your piece on okay. Go ahead, Big G. You can go next.
Yeah. I enjoyed Clash of the Castle. I literally had to stay off of social media all day because I worked during it, and I watched it. And I was thoroughly impressed, even like Walter just said, we did our predictions and I got most of the matches wrong, but I wasn't mad because I got them wrong. I was actually happy because we weren't expecting what we wanted to expect. The European crowds, I told this on the predictions, the Europeans, I'm going to call myself a European because I'm German American. When it comes
did you live over there?
I've lived in Germany. Yes, I have.
Okay.
So
I consider you one then.
When it comes to sports, when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to soccer, if you ever get a chance or go on YouTube and watch a European soccer game, highlights, the crowds are very, very loud. The European fans are very passionate about their sports. And we U.S. fans have nothing on European fans when it comes to being loud. Anyways, going to Clash of the Castle, I did not expect CM Punk to be there. I was totally shocked. I liked the camera angle and how Michael Cole said, "Oh, there's a ref coming," and the camera angle was up, and you couldn't see who was running in the ring, and then he ran in the ring, and then you could tell that it was CM Punk, and I liked it. It's continuing the whole McIntyre CM Punk feud. Hopefully, it was funny. Punk said, he's gonna skip on Corpus Christi. Good for Punk because I'm sure he wouldn't get any kind of reaction to Corpus Christi. You go to SmackDown in Chicago. But yeah, I'm not mad at all. And Wade Barrett, playing along with this whole storyline too. Like Walter said, we could potentially see Wade Barrett coming out of retirement. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was very, very well done, and I'm liking this, I guess, Triple H regime so far. So,
All right. Thank you for that, Big G. All right, TJS.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Oh boy. All right. I'm just gonna do the quick hits for the lower card. I predicted that the two Scots ladies were gonna win the tag titles. I kind of saw this coming to where, like I said, they might just lose it on Raw or something. But anyway, cool moment. Let's see. Bailey and Piper had a fine match. Cody versus AJ. I had a problem with this one because where were the Good Brothers to help AJ get out of the handcuffs? That kind of bugged me.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't like that Cody is supposed to be like the top baby face, but he hit AJ with the steps even after the bell rang. Didn't like that. The baby face is supposed to have self-control, restraint. He didn't.
You
So
don't mess with family though, TJS.
well, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens to AJ Styles next. But overall, I thought that was a really good match. Just didn't really like Cody not being a babyface at the end. The Sami Zayn Chad Gable thing is a tragedy. I really want Chad to just win the title already. I'm glad he re-signed. He said it himself. He re-signed. So thankfully, he broke that news before any of the dirt sheets picked up on it. He was able to just say himself, yes, I re-signed. So that was great to see. And if this guy is not Intercontinental Champion soon, I might just go crazy because, let's be honest, no one deserves it more. Actually, I'm hoping that once he lines up or aligns with the Creeds and Ivy, then he's going to take off and win the title and say, all right, I told you I just needed to get rid of all the dead weight or whatever. Priest versus McIntyre. This was so good. I loved it. I want to just give credit to Damian Priest real quick because when he was Mr. Money in the Bank or Senior Money in the Bank, I was saying this guy could never be a world champion. This guy is okay, but he's mid-card at best. He has done a great job as world champion, I think. He's not Roman Reigns or anything like that, but as a secondary world champion, I think he's done great. Presentation is awesome. He's a big, tall guy that tattooed up. You don't want to mess with him. And, man, even... he worked that match on the ankle that he ended up hurting. Loved the whole match, and I'm really digging Damian. Of course, he's going to lose to Gunther, though, so get ready for that. About CM Punk costing Drew, Aaron, I'm not sure if you saw that image that I sent over to you.
It was very small resolution, so I'm not really sure what it was supposed to be. It looked like a referee.
Yeah, there's a referee on the roster that has the same hairstyle as CM Punk, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Like I was too in the moment for to realize that was Punk.
Right.
So it was the back of the head, and I was like, "Oh, Drew is about to win. 1, 2," and then the pause, and then the camera slowly pans out to reveal Punk. The only thing that would have made that better for me is if Punk was giving Drew the finger instead of just the 2. If he was just flipping him off, oh my gosh. I'm just so happy to see CM Punk in WWE. He looks like he's having a great time, and I've not read a single bad thing about him. The NXT guys are saying we love having him here, so that just goes to show what happens when a professional works with professionals. So I'm happy.
Children.
Yeah, and not children. I love it. I'm glad that CM Punk and WWE shook hands and said, let's make some money instead of, the other company. But overall, I really enjoyed the Clash of the Castle show. I'm going to give it an A-. Thought it was really solid. And like I said, I'm just so happy to see CM Punk in WWE. He is easily, my favorite of all time, and seeing him in WWE it warms my heart.
Now, TGS, we have to bring Aaron. We have to bring the NoDQ panels back because a couple good topics we never did on that first run of all those shows. we could do best special guest referees and worst of all time.
Yeah.
And then we got to do the ring announcer one too. So we got to bring the NoDQ panel back, even if they're like 30-minute videos. Those are always fun. And that special referee thing, there's been a slew of them over the years. So we'd have to do our studying, but that's a possibility, NoDQ Galaxy. All right, Aaron, over to you.
All right, we got some super chats, and I'm not going to add too much in regards to the premium live event since I did the recap. And you guys made a lot of good points about the show. Let's get to the super chats. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says AEW's best. This is in regards to the gimmicks from the previous topic. AEW's best gimmick is Okada. Not sure I agree with that. And he said Shad Khan. I probably agree with that, though. And then the worst is the Young Bucks. I know Virtue hates the Young Bucks, and a lot of people do. They're very polarizing. I will say this. I give them credit for trying to do something different. Even if it's not necessarily working for people, I do give them credit for doing something a little bit different from what they were doing before, you know, changing up their music and their presentation. It still seems to be pissing people off, but hey, at least they're trying. So I will give them that. You know, they gotta do something different, and you know, you can't just rely on the same routine for your entire career. I mean, some people do, but the ones that are among the greatest, I feel like they've had to change things up a little bit. You look at The Undertaker, as we mentioned. Hulk Hogan had to go to Hollywood Hogan. Even Steve Austin felt like he got stale and had to join up with Vince McMahon and change up his character. It didn't work out, but he tried. You know, all the greats at some point got to reinvent themselves. So whether the Young Bucks connect with the audience or not, at least they're trying. So I'll say
Nobody said Tony Khan is worst gimmick. I mean, he's been on TV enough, and now we almost have to call that a gimmick, right? No,
is it really a gimmick, though?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's probably just himself. So,
even Brock Lesnar had to change who he was. He had to become Cowboy Brock and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he made some changes over the years, you know, even just little things like changing your look. But anyways, let's get back to Clash at the Castle. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says European fans deserve WWE more than Corpus Christi. Yeah, that is true. I don't know why WWE goes to Corpus Christi. I mean, I know why. They're sold out. They're packing that arena. So, you know, it's profitable for them. But, like, what is up with Corpus Christi? Like, they're just never they're never into. There's some cities like Lafayette,
Maybe
Louisiana.
Maybe surprise us tomorrow.
A lot of the southern areas of the United States and Midwest, you know, like Nebraska and Iowa, like those crowds are never really that into it.
Arkansas.
Yeah, sorry, TJS. I don't think Arkansas is all that good.
Okay, around here it's a bunch of casuals, so that's probably why.
Yeah,
Arkansas, that's the home of Walmart.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, great
corporate
place.
Headquarters.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean part of it with the crowds in Corpus Christi, you know, they're more of your casual fans, and the thing is with the international crowds, they're not getting as much WWE live. Like they don't get these big events. This was the first premium live event in Scotland, and you know it's all new to them getting these major shows. I don't know if the thing is, Virtue and I were talking about this in a private chat. I feel like those Scotland fans, next time WWE's in town, you know, people are saying the ticket prices were ridiculous, which, I mean, yeah, they're expensive, but that's capitalism. WWE is going to charge what they can get. And if fans are going to spend hundreds of dollars for nosebleeds, I mean, it's supply and demand. If the demand is there, WWE is going to charge it. It's not the most fan friendly, but at the end of the day, they are a business, and they're gonna price their tickets appropriately and try to make as much money as possible. Will Scotland fans buy tickets again? I'm sure they will. I would be shocked if those fans actually never returned for a WWE event and WWE draws poorly in Scotland. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, sometimes you don't get the ending you want, but you have to really consider the big picture. And this is what I mentioned on the recap stream. We got to see how this plays out, and you got to think of what their long game is. It's CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. You want to build heat on that. And Gunther has the SummerSlam title match. McIntyre, Punk doesn't need to be for the title. So McIntyre had to lose here. It just so happened that the timing of it led to McIntyre getting screwed again at Clash at the Castle, which left a bad taste for some people, which I totally get that, but I think business-wise, WWE is going to be just fine. They will survive.
Here's the
Walter,
thing, like,
who wants to
ahead,
go first?
Let Walter put his.
I just
We all
want to
have
add
something
to
to
your
say.
point about the European countries. You think about it, not only is it that they barely get to see it, but on the regular basis, because of the time difference, these people have to stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Every PLE, every Raw is like a 12-hour difference in certain countries. Every SmackDown is totally different. They got to watch it at like these weird times unless they catch it on demand the next day. So when they see, at 8 p.m. their own local time and they get to see this stuff in person, they're going to be loud and overreactive. Plus, the beer over there, man, it's a hell of a lot better quality than ours. So half of these people are drunk and out of their mind. They're going to have fun.
All right.
So that's part of it, too.
Who's next to chime in?
I got two things. So
Okay.
the first, I did like the bagpipes for Drew's entrance. And second, this is like not early booking, but you thought the Scots were mad. Wait till what if Gunther loses in Germany? Wait till how the Germans react. You thought the
Right.
Scots are bad. Wait till the Germans. That's gonna.
Big G, I got to ask you, like, how good is your German?
It's good. I mean, I'm fluid in it. It's not as good as it used to be because I really don't talk about it or I don't speak it as much as I used to. Yeah. But I'm still fluent. I can still like understand and stuff like that. So
now,
I brush up on my German too.
Can you say yes to NoDQ in German?
Say ja zum NoDQ.com.
All right, simple enough. That one's not too difficult.
Simple as that.
Aaron, before I pass back to you, I just want to point out, like, kids in attendance that look up to Drew McIntyre as a hero, even if he's a heel, they leave disappointed because of what happened. That's fine. These are adult males that know wrestling's a work. They got pissed. That's the landscape of wrestling in 2024 if I ever saw it. But anyway, go ahead, Aaron. Had to point that out.
And the other thing is, those Scottish fans will probably buy tickets next time WWE's in town. TJS, 1 second. The other thing I wanted to mention about that is, remember, CM Punk is the babyface. Drew McIntyre's the heel. This was just the case of Drew McIntyre in his home country where he was going to be the babyface. But for the rest of the world, the fans probably loved that ending, seeing Drew McIntyre get screwed again. This guy was going in all cocky. I'm going to win the title. I'm going to be number one. And for CM Punk to give him a big FU, probably a lot of people actually liked that ending. And, whatever you hear on social media, first of all, Twitter and X, there's so many trolls on there. And anybody can have an opinion on Twitter and X. Like, I see so many toxic comments that get like hundreds of likes and retweets. It's ridiculous. You're going to drive yourself nuts if you read those comments on Twitter. That does not represent the majority of fans. It's a very small minority. Okay. TJS is cracking up and Virtue's poking at him. What is this, Facebook? Keep poking at him. All right, TJS. Get it together, man. We are live. Live. It is unprofessional to laugh. No laughing. 3, 2, 1. No laugh.
Okay. All right. So we talked about real quick about the Clash of the Castle prices. Aaron, you mentioned supply and demand. That's very true because I mentioned yesterday how hot it is here in Arkansas. This water at the Vitamin Shop was like $5, and I bought it because it was hot outside. That's supply and demand, basic economics. Anyway, Aaron, you mentioned it. They are building heat for SummerSlam. That's why Punk cost Drew. They want people to get invested, and that's what they're doing. The only thing I wanted to ask is, did you guys see the clip on X of Punk, how he got the ref shirt? Did you guys see that?
Oh, with him going at Jessica Carr, grabbing her shirt.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I don't think the acting in that was that good, but I thought that it was nice that we at least got an explanation. Because Aaron, normally I feel like if you were doing a recap, you would have said something like, "Oh, I guess Punk just happened to know that the ref was going to take a bump, and he just had a ref."
Right. So in this case, he like saw an opportunity to go out there.
And I'm
here's my only thing. Like, why didn't Jessica Carr just go out there as soon as the referee went down? Shouldn't they always have a second referee ready to go?
Well, okay. Well, now you just
like at least she should have been ready to go out there. Yeah, I mean it's wrestling. It you can't really put too much thought into it.
If you don't like it, then just don't watch. How about that?
Exactly.
Didn't I say he was going to screw over the last pay-per-view by being the referee and putting on a ref shirt from the commentary table? I was at the wrong PLE, but I said he would put on a ref shirt and screw him.
Well, I think we just need to enjoy it and just.
And I did enjoy it. I liked the show. I gave it a B+, which is actually a very good rating for the show. Like I had no real problems with it, and I did want to get to a couple more of these super chats. Now, Michael sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael. This was from earlier. He says, "Was this a double turn for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? Also, he heard that Shayna gave Jade a receipt and actually choked out Jade after her botches." I did not hear anything about that Jade Cargill.
Apparently, I don't know if you heard, but apparently, like, the ref at the beginning of AJ's match, he told him that the ropes were loose.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's why there was a lot of botches.
Yeah.
Or a lot of, I'm not gonna say botches. I'm done using botches. A lot of mistakes.
Oh, did Chris Jericho get to you?
Yeah. I'm just it's you know what? It's live TV, folks. Yeah, they're gonna make mistakes.
I'm just glad that the crowd does not chant "you effed up" anymore. Like
they did.
They did. Oh, they did during AJ's match. They said you effed up like after beating him up.
Oh, I mean like after a botch, like after.
Oh yeah. After
Well, AJ actually botched something, and they were chanting "you effed up" at him.
AJ does not botch.
That's right. Except for
the
rare occasion when he does.
That's right. Jade fell off the rope after doing that top rope. Remember how she like. Yeah.
All those people, they talk about it and keep, you botch. Get your butt in the ring. Let me see what you'll do. Like, leave it alone. They're professionals.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen.
And I mean, it's so funny because, the WWE diehards will look at any AEW botch and call it out. And then the other fan base, the AEW diehards will look at the WWE botches and point them out. It's like mistakes happen in both companies. And, it doesn't really thing. You know what's funny? I don't even notice the botches half the time when I'm watching these shows. Like unless it's really obvious, like the Jade one was obvious, but a lot of them I don't even notice. And I'm like, dude, do you just like dissect every second of the show just to find somebody making a mistake?
If they wanted to really make wrestling look real, there would be a lot of botches in every match. Because real boxing fights, real wrestling matches, real UFC fights, there's weird, uncoordinated stuff that can happen in these fights because of real competition and people slipping or whatever it is. In wrestling, nope, we have to be perfect. Everything has to be executed flawlessly. And that's just weird to me.
Yeah,
it's not a movie. There's not a director saying cut and you get to do it 6 times over.
I want to say, sorry, Walter.
No, that was like that.
So the last AEW show I went to in Baltimore, and then I called in during Busted Open, and I think it was like it was a Jericho match, and he had like tripped off the top rope or fell off the top rope or something, and like
Bully.
I was talking to Bully and Dave, and they were like asking me about the match and stuff like that, and I mentioned the word botch, and then Bully went off on me. He was like, I was like, I wasn't mad, I was just loving it.
How have I not heard this?
Yeah, I got called out.
You told me that. You basically said, how would you know what a botch is if you don't
exactly. Yeah. But
I want to hear this too. I want to hear you get roasted.
I got to find it. I have to look it up.
Have you called into Jeff Jarrett's podcast yet?
Heck no.
Aw.
You should.
Now that would be something I would tune in for. If I knew Big G was going to be on Jeff Jarrett's podcast to ask him a question, I would definitely watch that. But anyways, let's get back to the super chats. Mr. Anderson sent in $2. He says, "Was the Clash at the Castle ending fair or unfair?" I mean, it was definitely unfair for Drew McIntyre, I think.
But was it clean?
It was not clean.
No, because Punk screwed him.
I mean, Punk's not an official referee just because he stole a shirt, right?
Right.
That's
So
true.
it was most definitely unfair. I don't think we'll have any arguments over that. But no, it was not a double turn either. There was that comment earlier. CM Punk is a babyface everywhere but Scotland. And even in Scotland, I felt like he didn't get a huge negative reaction. In fact, it looked like some of the fans at ringside were actually cheering when he did that.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you hear like a section of the crowd chanting bullshit. And like I said, they're going to buy tickets next time WWE's in town. So
fans might have been drunk.
They're all going to go. They're all going to go to England when WrestleMania finally goes over to Wembley.
Yeah.
5 years from now, they'll all be there.
Yeah. The thing is, like the go away heat is when people stop buying tickets. But if people are mad yet they're still buying tickets, then you're doing good business. And I honestly don't think WWE's business is going to hurt at all from what happened at Clash at the Castle. If anything, now people are more excited to see CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, and that could sell more tickets to the stadium for that and pack the what's that Cleveland Browns arena called, or the stadium?
Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Yeah, Cleveland. It used to be First Energy Stadium, but yeah, Cleveland Browns.
Virtue, are you going to SummerSlam?
It all depends on if Dwayne or Roman are booked high on the card. I mean, Rock's hurt, but we'll see.
Yeah, as I mentioned I think on the NoDQ review a couple weeks ago, I said that if The Rock is on the card, I might consider it. I mean, it's about 3 hours, and I'd like to see everybody again, see Virtue and Colin and everybody, but I don't know if I want to make the drive over there to watch the show unless like something really significant is going to happen. Oh, there's which
Joker.
cat? There's Joker. Joker is humongous. Joker used to be a little tiny kitten. What happened? They grow so fast.
I know they do.
Well, happy Father's Day, Big G. You are a cat dad after all. So
yeah.
And Michael sent in a $2 super chat, says, "I thought the Creeds would have helped Gable win." I figured the Otis turn was going to happen before the Creeds join the split, whether Otis leaves Gable or Gable kicks out Otis. That's going to happen first, and then the Creeds are going to join. But yeah, I wasn't necessarily disappointed in that, other than just wondering when does Gable get his title run, if ever. Like he's lost so many times now, and then as I mentioned, they brought it up on commentary, and usually when that happens, it's a sign that he's going to win. When they say, "Yeah, Chad Gable has never won a singles title in WWE," and then he still hasn't won a singles title. So that they actually
challenge him
smoked me.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, maybe.
When Otis does his turn, now what happens to Zawa? Like he just gets lost and shuffled now. Like,
with all due respect to him, probably catering. Anyways,
ninja gimmick.
anyways, I enjoyed Clash, and on to the next one, right?
Yep.
Which is in like what, 2 weeks? Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, 3 weeks maybe. Yeah,
4
churning
weeks
them
from
out.
now. Yeah.
They're churning them out.
Yep.
Look at these marks in the chat. No one wants to see The Rock at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Okay.
5 million people that don't watch wrestling would be interested in that. The 750,000 that watch AEW would be the ones that say they wouldn't want to see The Rock.
Like I said, The Rock is the only reason I think that I would actually consider buying a ticket and going.
Yeah.
Not even, with all due respect to Roman, not even Roman would get me to go out to Cleveland for it. It would have to be The Rock against Cody for me to actually consider it.
All right, fair enough. But basically, Aaron doesn't want to go. He just doesn't want to go. And
I need a damn good
chances of The Rock actually showing up and getting that big match are slim. So he's setting his table. I like it. Okay, let's go around and do our last words. Big G, since you got the cat, go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on TikTok at Big Baller G 1988.
Oh. You're under there. At least he had something on.
Okay, we're not going to have a repeat of Great Balls of Fire 2017.
He was covered. He was covered.
I
He
got
just
shorts
had,
on.
Yeah, he had like South Park or something on there. I don't even know what it was. Go
TikTok,
ahead.
Big Biology 1988.
Ooh,
X,
almost saw
Twitter,
the
at
big
Twix. NoDQ _ Big Biology. And Instagram, NoDQ _ Big Biology 1988. No, I got like 90s like shorts on, like 90s themed shorts.
Steelers shorts? No.
No.
All right. Well,
Were you
thanks,
even
Big.
born in the 90s?
To me, yeah.
Okay, TJS, you're the one that was born like after 2000.
I was born in 98.
Okay, 98.
I'm old.
All right,
Yeah.
Walter.
All right, on the socials, on the X, you can follow me at Walter Alex Cruz. On Instagram, the Cal Fire Farms, and on YouTube, the Rage of Wrestling. But thanks as always for having me up here, Virtue and Aaron. Yep.
All right, so that's Rage of Wrestling, Cal Fire, and Walter Alex Cruz social media accounts. Make sure you follow Walter and check out all of his content. And we got everything back together here. TGS is still giggling.
TGS, are you laughing? Are you sitting in your underwear?
You want to show us your boxers?
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you just completely disappeared. All right. He's got
Okay.
shorts on.
I'm wearing my gym shorts. Yeah.
All right. There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what? Sorry to interrupt you, but do you guys ever wonder if Noah Foster like has no pants on when he does his videos? Like he's got his suit jacket, but can you imagine he's just like in his suit jacket for what we can see on camera, but then down below he's got like nothing.
I do not wonder that at all. But maybe some.
I always wonder that when people on panels, like, are they actually wearing any bottoms?
Are you, Aaron?
I got shorts on right there.
As a matter of fact, I am.
Khakis, baby. Khakis.
Nice.
All right, go ahead, TJS.
All right. Always great to be on, guys. So thanks for having me. Tomorrow, hopefully, we're gonna get some Uncle Howdy stuff, so we can maybe talk about that next week. But you can follow me on X at TYLRJSPHSMTH. Again, thanks for having me. Always fun. Love being here, and hope everyone has a good week.
Thank you. Okay, Aaron.
TGS, since you're back on with us more regularly, we got to get a new graphic for you with your social handle. So I got to contact Jeff and see if he can make that happen since
Aaron,
he's the graphics master. Yeah.
Aaron, I just wanted to mention, I forgot to mention this, but the band on your shirt, I forgot how good they are. I was listening to one of their songs recently, and I'm like, man, they're good.
All right. Yeah. I've seen them like 3 or 4 times. Great band.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're good in the gym. I think that, they got some.
Okay. Yeah, my first wedding, I used the song "A Little Piece of Heaven" for the cake cutting, and I got divorced. So,
well, is she still alive at least, or did you reenact that video?
Still alive.
Okay.
Anyways, last time I checked, at least.
Okay.
Emmanuel sent in a $2 super chat. Says their AEW fans say, "Thank God Jade is WWE's problem." Basically, that they were crapping on Jade Cargill, and she went to WWE, and they're like, "Oh, she's their problem now." I mean, I think Jade is very entertaining and has a lot of charisma and personality in the ring. She's not great, but she's also still pretty new to the game. And she struggled a little bit out there, but I don't think people should be hating on her and saying, "Oh yeah, she doesn't belong there" and all this stuff. I think that's a little ridiculous. I mean, she's not perfect, but I mean some of the biggest stars in wrestling history were flawed in the ring. I mean, look at Sid. Sid wasn't great by any means, but I mean, I'm glad we had Sid. Imagine a world without Sid Vicious. That would suck. Sid Vicious was a hell of an entertainer, and I'm glad we had him in professional
If you only
wrestling.
had half the brain he has.
Right, exactly. Like we had classics like that. I wouldn't want Sid's promos to be perfect. What made Sid great was that he was not perfect.
Like Steiner.
So, exactly. Bingo. And This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says C botch moments can be great. Clash at the Castle, A-. There you go. He actually gave the show a high grade despite the botches. So there you go. Thank you for that. And just stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next review because I think we'll be able to maybe talk about Uncle Howdy and the new faction. They're allegedly going to debut on Monday at Corpus Christi. So that'll be fun to talk about if they debut. So I think we're on next Sunday at 8. I'm pretty sure we got Sunday night open. Forbidden Door is not next weekend. So, we should be good. Yeah.
Following weekend, right?
2 weekends, yes. 2 weekends from now. Next weekend, we're back on Sunday night. So, that's all I got. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Virtue?
All right, NoDQ.com/merch to get shirts like this. And if you dare, follow me on X.com at NoDQ_Virtue. For TJS, for Walter Cruz, Big G, Aaron Rift, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy, I am Virtue. And we will see you again next Sunday. Good night, everybody.